I never started my sermon so early. It's only 11:08. But if you change the time to the summertime, yes, it's 12:08. We've been blessed by the message that we heard, haven't we? Indeed, it is the greatest message that we can ever hear. Have you ever asked God to give you a sign that He exists? Or have you ever been tempted to say, God, please demonstrate your existence. Show us, show me that you exist. Have you ever asked God, or you've been tempted to ask God to give you a sign that He is real? Well, just be honest. I asked God several times, and I remember one occasion when I asked God to give a sign that He exists. I was still in the communist country of Romania. I was a student, 6th, 7th grade. During that time, schooling was mandatory 6 days a week, including Saturday. There were no options to attend a private school, a Christian school, just a public school. And it was my custom to attend church on Saturdays, and I haven't been to school on Saturdays. Although they put a lot of pressure on me to come to school on Saturday. I was missing a lot of information, a lot of things that are taught on Sabbaths, on Saturdays, I should say. And one of the teachers was kind of behind me and scaring me and trying to convince me that I should be at school on Saturday. And he was very angry. One Monday after I returned for the following week, he came to me and said, "Why we're not here on Saturday?" I said, "I'm sorry, I went to my church and I worship God." He pulled me from the corners of my jacket. He was a PE teacher. He was with a very mad face. He lifted me up and said, "Serban, show me your God, and I will believe you." In my mind, I said, "Lord, please show this guy that you exist." I wanted God to manifest Himself in such a powerful way that my teacher, who was so mad, would believe in God. No sign was shown on the time, and I was disappointed. And many times, probably you did the same, you asked God to give you an evidence of His existence. And sometimes He gave you an evidence, sometimes He did not. I just spoke with somebody this week in one of our Bible studies that we have during the week, and one of my students said, "Yes, I'm a Christian because God showed me that He exists, that He is real." But not everybody had that experience to see a sign from God that He is real. Today I want just to share with you one sign that you cannot ignore it. One sign that is so hard to overlook it in terms of that Jesus is God. You are not the only one asking for a sign. During Jesus' time, people ask Jesus, "Jesus, show us a sign, and then we'll trust that you are Messiah, you are the Son of God." I don't know, did they have their eyes closed when Jesus performed miracles, when Jesus fed the multitudes, when Jesus turned the water into wine? Did they have their eyes closed? When Lazarus was raised from the dead? But now they still want another sign, that they will believe that He is God. And Jesus saying, "Yes, I have one more." And actually this is the only one that would prove that I am the Son of God. It's the sign of the prophet Jonah. What is the sign? What is the sign of Jonah the prophet? We know the story from the Old Testament that Jonah spent 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the fish, and then by miracle he came back to life. Well, By using this sign, Jesus wants to say that there is no other sign more powerful than the death and the resurrection, than his death and his resurrection. If people do not believe this, there is nothing else that they can be convinced. There is nothing else that would convince them that he indeed is the Son of God. The first one is the cross. Yes, the cross is the sign that proves that Jesus is God. You may say, why? Because so many people died on the cross. Yes, but nobody was glorified by dying on the cross. When Jesus died on the cross, God the Father said, the Son of Man has been glorified. Is the only person that is glorified by lowering down, by coming down, by stooping down, by humbling himself. By humbling himself to what? Not just became like one of us, like a human being, but even more than that, became like a slave. And even more than that, the lowest level of a slave. And then dying on the cross. So Jesus was glorified by lowering down when he washed the disciples' feet. No man would have done this. This was the job of a slave. If a family did not have a slave, this was the job of the host's wife or daughter, because at those times women were less important than men. But Jesus, who was the Son of God, he humbled himself and he washed the disciples' feet. And he humbled himself to the point of death, even death on the cross. And the Father glorified him. This is how God is glorified, folks. God is glorified not through lifting him up, but God is glorified when he steps down, when he humbles himself. Only God can do this. And Jesus, although he was coming from his great place, he came down and he died on the cross. This sign proves that Jesus is God. And the other part of this event, which is the resurrection, is also a powerful sign that he is God. I was looking on all the 4 Gospels where resurrection is presented. And I was trying to see, how was Jesus resurrected? Who came to resurrect Jesus from the dead? We know that when Lazarus was raised from the dead, Jesus went there. And I don't know exactly what he did, but he was present there and calling Lazarus to come forth. The resurrection of Jesus. Who resurrected Jesus? In the 4 Gospels, we don't find any report of how the resurrection took place. Ellen White is giving us some additional details. But the reality is, the way I understand is that there was no need for anybody to come and resurrect Jesus. Do you know why? Because what did he say about himself when he resurrected Lazarus? I am what? I am the resurrection. I am the resurrection. So Jesus is the resurrection. Jesus just resurrected from his death because he was God. Nobody could do that. This is why I strongly believe that Jesus is the Son of God. Because of the cross and because of his resurrection. These are the strongest proofs that God is real. If we don't believe this, no other sign will be given to us. I pray this morning that we all look at the cross, and by by looking there, we will see Jesus, the Son of God, who came and died for us, that through him we may have everlasting life. May the Lord bless us as we worship him and as we follow him.
Amen.